Hey everyone, Yanni, Vortex Advantage Ag here. Got a really exciting piece of equipment to show you that's been about a year in the making. You know, this concept, it's behind me and I'm going to introduce it here in a minute, was born from, you know, getting on a couple of jobs that were larger jobs, call it 6 to 800 acres, and there would be, say, 20 or 30 different fields within that 6 to 800 acres. So I really had this big trailer before. Many of you have probably seen that video of my trailer build. I found out very quickly that I couldn't get that into a lot of locations. So what was born out of that was the Vortex Rover. That's what we're calling this. This device behind me, or this piece of equipment. It's a flatbed skid. I'm super excited to kind of bring this. I've been wanting to kind of release this for the last like 6-8 months. I built version 1.0 and realized quickly there were a lot of ways I could improve it. So behind me we have 2.0. I got Steve, my cameraman, behind me here. He's going to kind of walk with me as I give you a tour of this skid. This will be a long video, but I'm going to kind of go into detail about what we did, what our thought process was, and how we think this will be a really useful tool for drone operators, especially in areas that aren't your typical row and field crop, you know, where you need a really tall trailer, but more so the operators that are dealing in tighter areas that you can't get through underneath trees, power lines, creek beds, and things like that. So I've got a 2022 Chevy 4500 HD four-wheel drive dually. It's got a CM truck bed on it. That's an 11-foot bed. This unit was designed for an 11-foot bed. No matter what truck you have, it's going to be a pretty standardized width and length in an 11-foot bed. Okay, so it's a steel construction. We decided not to go with aluminum for a couple of reasons. I know the steel is going to weigh a little more, but you know, I have this beautiful, probably $16,000 CM aluminum truck bed on this truck, and I love it. It looks great. It's lightweight, but we've noticed a lot of cracks throughout it. And I think driving down rough roads like we all do, you're going to experience a lot of that vibration. Every rancher I run into, they point out aluminum equals cracks. So, you know, I opted to go with the steel version. We may do an aluminum version of it that's beefed up to be able to sustain the rigors of running through dirt roads and things, but that'll be down the road. So the Vortex Rover, we've got a total capacity of 330 gallons of fresh water. We got the Excalibur tank on the other side of this 110-gallon applicator tank. We went away from the cone inductor tank because we introduced an eductor, and so I went to a full drain 110-gallon applicator tank. It's got full rinse, so I don't really ever go up into the main 8-inch manway on this thing. It's got 2 sprinkler spinners on the top that at the end of the day will rinse from the top down, and it's a full drain sumped out 110-gallon tank. So you got a total of 440 gallons that you can go out into the field. So the idea here is to be able to pull up to a job that's 200 acres or less and be able to just take the truck, not need to bring a trailer with water or what have you. And at 2 gallon per acre work, that's a couple hundred acres, 400 gallons. We've got 440. You can save 40 gallons for clean out at the end of the day. I also wanted to introduce my previous rig. I was having to climb up and down. I'm a big guy, 6'3", 215. Getting up and down, I've almost fallen a few times. You know, it's just not ideal to have to get up and load chemical into the top of a cone tank. The cone tanks have a lot taller stature, so I really like the way this fit into our setup here. So we've got a full manifold setup right here, a 3-way valve, you know, oriented this way. We'll pull fresh water in from the tank into the eductor and then into the 110-gallon hot load tank. And then we've got a separate circuit here for, you know, the purposes of agitating. We've got dual eductors at the bottom of this tank that agitate really well, and that's this nozzle here. You've got tank rinse here, and you've got a shutoff valve for your hose, your fill hose to the drone here. So this next part here is really exciting. This is the part I was just super stoked about. So clean load system, This basically articulates down. So I've got a pull pin right here, Steve. You can see that latches into place. And then this just basically comes up and over and down like this. And so once you get, what I do is I fill my tank halfway, and then I turn off the fresh water and put it onto closed loop agitation. Open up this valve right here, twist lock, open this, and basically just pour my chemical into here, open this valve, and it sucks it right up into the applicator tank, and at the same time is agitating it. Then you can go into your next product and do that as well. So you just add all of your product right here, nice and low. I have a higher than average truck, so I would say most of these will come a little bit lower. And you know, I suppose there's a way we could, you know, modify it to make it come down even lower if we wanted it to. But this is a great height. I've got jug rinse here. So, you know, obviously as you get done with each jug, you've got this that'll spin and rinse the jugs out. And then you'll just need to puncture them. We've got tank rinse here. So when this is closed, Steve, if you come around this side, you've got this right here. It's got a little safety stop, and this goes on. That rinses all this out. When you do that with this open, it rinses out and sucks up and goes into the thing. So when I had this plumbed out, the intent was to make the clean out really easy. I've had other setups where the clean out was really, really difficult to and used a lot of water to clean out. I did not want that. So we've got 1.25 inch hose coming out of the AMT pump. That's a 3/4 horse and AMT 55 gallon per minute pump with brass, and it does really well. So how this goes back up when you're done, we leave this down for the day or at least when we're staying in one spot. When we get ready to move, boom, up it goes. It's in there nice and sturdy. It's not going anywhere. We've got J sweeps on here to minimize friction loss on each fitting on the suction side and the discharge side. So we're good there. Let's move on to I'll point out, since they're right in front of me, we've got stake bed, or rather forklift pockets, so that you can take this thing on and off very easily. I'll also just briefly talk about the way we anchored this. When we build these skids, we're going to offer them to folks without a mounting mechanism, because every truck's going to be slightly different. Okay, so there's no way for us to universally create something that's going to be able to mount on any truck. Steve, the cameraman, his unit, he's got a longer flatbed. I think it's 12 feet, and his stake pockets are actually in the bed, in the edge of the bed. So it's very different, not very different, but different than what this is. So I came up with this really, I think, ingenious way to mount these things. And if you look here, we worked with the fabricator to gusset this, and I bought these stake bed pocket D-rings, and we just ground there was a D-ring on here before. We had them just lop this off, put this gusset on here. It's all welded, and you've got a pin right here and a cotter pin or whatever, a safety pin. You just pull 4 pins out on all sides, take a forklift, lift it up and off. I don't anticipate this is going to come off very often, but I'm just pointing that out as something that we came up with. It does not move. It looks hella better than ratchet straps. No one wants janky ratchet straps on the rig. And I can tell you, when you pull up to a job with this thing, people know you mean business. And I'm sorry, looking good is half the battle, baby. You got to look good when you do this, but deliver on a good product as well. All right. We went with a Kubota. Man, I'm so happy to be gone with the Westinghouse 28,000 watt. Nothing against that generator. It's loud. I can't emphasize enough how the mental capacity throughout a day of listening. I don't care if you've had Bluetooth, noise canceling. It doesn't matter. That constant loud, high decibel noise all day long will further degrade your mental capacity, and you start making mistakes. I know I do. So got the 14 kW lowboy. We'll sell this Vortex Rover unit with and without the generator. These are not cheap. They're north of $14,000 right now for this generator. But it's a 14 kW, 12K prime. So I'm running XAG. This is a 1 drone setup. I'll talk to you at the end about what my plan is to do to incorporate a 2 drone operation into this setup. But this 14 kW will run one, whether it's a T50, a J100, or an XAG P150, and have plenty of amps to charge at 12K prime. So it's really nice. I'll just kind of give you an idea how quiet it is. Got a nice access panel right here. That's it right there. I mean, it's just so much better than what we had before. All right, you've got full access here. So anytime you're all your fluids, everything you do on this generator is right here. And that's why this generator sits right here. You've got the fuel drain, oil drain, water drain. It's liquid cooled, 3-cylinder, you know, just again, very, very nice setup. It'll run for about 7 hours, 8 hours on a tank. I carry, you know, a 5.5 gallon of diesel with me. You're never going to run more than that in a day between the two of those. It's got overflow, so if any of these fluids were to spill, it goes into a catch tank in the bottom, and that's what this is for, to drain that. So everything's serviced right here. Very nice, very, very nice generator. All right, coming around the back, we've got an on-demand 5.5 gallon per minute pump, and this works really well. This is for clean out at the end of the day. I've got a 25-foot hose, and I don't have it on right now. The generator has to run, and I don't want to have the generator running in the background while we're doing the video. But basically, we just let this hang off, or you can have it mounted in a way where if you need to wash if you spill chemical on you or whatever, or at the end of the day, you know, hover the XAG off to the side, spray, let the blades chop up that water and clean it off really well. This works really well. We've got a Chandler Truck Accessories, really high-end box for the back here. I've got the barn door style. This basically is just a storage area. You know, I like to keep the batteries for the drone in here. Eventually, I'll probably have the batteries stored up top somewhere. I'm trying to keep the height of this low. I don't want it to be really high. I go under a lot of trees. That's the main thing. I've had guys come work with me from that do more wide open areas, and they bring their big tall trailers or truck setups, and they just can't get in where I go. So, you know, if you look at this when we stand back and look at it in a minute, it's very low, and we get really good access with that. This has a really good weather seal. My goal is to actually put a hole in the side of this and put a power strip inside here so that I can charge stuff, plug it directly into the generator. So that's what we got here. I've got, you know, we really didn't spare any expense on this thing. I kind of went high end with everything, and you know, from the clean load system, those things are not cheap, but they're nicely put together units. We may modify that on future units, not to be cheaper, but just to make them even more effective than they currently are. We've got a Realcraft hose with 1-inch fill, and we've got the Coniflex 1-inch hose. This hose is really good. It doesn't kink. It's lightweight. It's easy to work with. And we've got it routed up through rollers that go through up to the upper deck, and very, very nice hose reel. We've also got a service panel mounted here, and we've got two 50 amp breakers in here and two 20 amp breakers. And basically, for my setup with an XAG, I need 3 chargers, so I need two 50 amp plugs. I'm not using 50 amps. It's like 30 amps for each, basically, but I'm using 1.5. So I plug in one side for 2 chargers on 50 amp a plug, and then I plug in the other one, but I'm only using half of that. I'm in the process. I go short one box, but we also have power for down here. So if I want to plug my chargers in down here, I'll have 2 of these boxes right here. And for XAG, again, I need 2, but I'm not to be mistaken for using double 50 amp. I'm just still staying under 60 amps, but needing 2 outlets. So if you run a DJI, a T50 or what have you, you'll just need 1 of these boxes here and 1 up top. I've got 2 up top, and I'll have my second one mounted here in the next day or 2. All right, on to the part I'm really proud about. Well, let me mention the LED lights. So we've got LED lights on the sides and on the rear of the unit. And, you know, I'm going to be working a lot more night time if I can.
So having lights to be able to set up, whether it's at 0 dark 30 or throughout the night. Got really nice double locking latches. They're key locked, and then you can also padlock it. But basically, this is the, you know, the drone storage box. So again, kind of going on the theme of not skimping at all, I found this company called Slidemaster. I think they're out of where are they, Wisconsin or somewhere. Yeah, Wisconsin. Holy crap, really well made. Not cheap. I've got boat decking material on top here, and we basically just, I chose to mount my D-rings here. I'm not going to put D-rings on the top or on this on any of the units we send out, because I think that's kind of a personal preference, how you like to tie down your drone, whether it's up top moving from field to field or in here as it's stored. I use these Rhino straps. They're ratchet. They're really nice. They go up and over the arms at the base, as I could hook them in here, but pulling further away causes more stress, so I choose to kind of keep it close to the base of the arm. You just do this, done, you know, and it ain't going anywhere. There's also plenty of room to put other stuff in here. I keep my, if the chargers aren't up top, I keep them in here, and the cooling stations. So you'll figure out what works for you. This is a big drone, so it takes up a lot of the space, but you can, all kinds of room for other stuff. I've got another charger here. I've got my remote. I've got an RTK. So here you go right here. I mean, it's just a one finger push of the button, and then it locks. Forgot to tell you, it's a 600-pound capacity, fully extended. So we extend this thing. I can stand up on it and hand things up top if I need to. But the idea is to get out to the field, pull this out, set it down, throw a battery in it, fly it up to the top deck if you're going to operate up top, and kind of go from there. All right, so that's the box. Fully enclosed. Dimensions of the box, interior dimensions are 48 by 48 by 48 inches deep. So basically, I wanted a big 4-foot box that could fit even future versions of other drones, because they're only getting bigger, right? My last skid I built fits the T50s, 2 of them, but can't get this thing in there, so it's kind of obsolete to me right now. I'll probably be selling that one, but anyway. All right, we're gonna go up top. We're gonna pause right now, but basically the ladder, you know, this ladder basically has a pull pin right here, and just goes like this, down, done. And we'll climb up. This grab rail here has a pull pin as well. It folds down to the front. I put an eyelet or an eye hole bolt up top, eye bolt, sorry, for the purposes of holding the filler nozzle. We've also got a speed fill here, so when we pull up to my hydrant, that's how I fill up. We fill our fresh 330-gallon tank. I open up this valve with a coupler on it, and I can fill this thing in 2 minutes. Close it, put the cap back on, and away we go. All right, we'll go ahead and pause the video there.
Okay, so we're up top of the Vortex Rover here. You know, initially, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of top operations on truck mounted systems, and there's a reason for that. It's tight quarters up here. You know, we have enough deck. We've been flying off the top. You can do it safely, but it is not for the beginner. If it's windy, you know, you can definitely get into a situation where it becomes a little bit more dangerous than it should be. So on days where it gets windier or you're in uneven terrain where the deck is not level, I highly recommend just operating off the ground. So that's the reason that the Rover was built the way it was. So I've got hose coming up through the deck here, as you can see, but honestly, if you're going to work off the ground, you just pull out enough hose. You got 50 feet, you pull it out and you operate off the ground. You plug your chargers in down below. That's why I put the outlets below and up top. You're not going to be able to use them at the same time simultaneously, but you'll be able to use one or the other basically. So we've got a pilot protection wall here. Again, the grab rail just very easily folds down like that and snaps into place. Got a place for your fill nozzle or your valve. We've got a place for the 3 chargers. Again, I'm trying to figure out a way that I can keep this up here so I don't have to transfer it up here at the beginning of the day, move from field to field, and then put it back down. Again, that's kind of a personal preference thing, so I think each operator that gets one of these will figure that out. The pilot wall, you know, you're behind here, you got plenty of protection to take off and land. We've got a 8-foot Pipeliner Cloud umbrella, super sturdy, with an umbrella pipe holder right here. It's not going anywhere. We've got two 50 amp plugs right here. These are just standard RV outlets. I think everyone pretty much knows what those look like. We've got a weatherproof box here for a 110 outlet, and that's for plugging in chargers, keeping a fan here, or whatever you need up here that needs to be powered up. Steve, if you come around this way and go to the rear of the skid, you know, we went with the expanded metal. You know, it's raining out right now, or it's lightly raining, so I think anything's going to get somewhat slick in the rain, so you wouldn't be out spraying if it's raining anyway. But this gives you really good grip and is very safe when it's dry. I like that. One thing that you got to consider is the drone when it's landing. If it has plastic feet on it, like they come standard, it'd be better to just have some sort of rubber foot on there. And I know DJI, the T50s, you can buy those big rubber boots that go on the bottom. Those would be really good for here, especially in windier conditions. I am considering, oh, real quick, I've got D-rings mounted here and here, so that when we're moving field to field, we can leave all this set up. If I'm moving a quarter mile down the road because I've already used up all my ferry distance and I'm starting to have too long a ferry time between flights and I need to move, we just literally hop down. I'll maybe fold up the umbrella, and if there's no overhead obstructions, I'll just move. Sometimes you have to put everything down, but you can leave it up here and you strap the drone down and then you're on your way. I have considered on future models incorporating a fold-out 3-foot section. So if you can imagine a section about this wide framed up in the exact same way, and I'm thinking about doing it in aluminum and bolting it on to make it lightweight, so you're not lifting this big heavy steel thing back and forth. But I think having that extra 3 feet off the back would increase the safety for up top operations, and that's kind of the thought process behind that. But that can be easily done, I think, no matter how you slice it. So Vortex Rover, Vortex Advantage Ag, we're based out of Texas. I'll be offering these things for sale, and if you have any questions, 817-659-3211 is my cell. 8338-VORTEX is our toll-free number, 8338-VORTEX, and that's VORTEX. VortexAg.com is our website. Like, subscribe the video, and check it out. Let me know your thoughts. We're looking to improve this unit. I think there's nothing like it on the market right now with drone storage. If you're on the road and you need a place to put all your high-end stuff locked up in a secure location, this is a good rig for you. And I think access is a big thing as well. Let me talk real quick about like the secondary plan for this just a little bit, but having a trailer to be able to fill this and support this drone with additional water. The idea is just leave that water trailer at the front gate of the property and go crush 200 plus acres, come back in, transfer pump from your larger tank to the Rover, go back out and hit another 200 acres, and so on. So that's my rationale behind this. I think it's a great one-man or two-man setup, and I think it'll work well for applications where a large double-decker trailer is not going to be optimal for you. Anyway, check us out. Thanks for watching. Yanni Matson, Vortex Advantage Ag.